Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to get radio-ready vocals fast. I'm not going to explain too much, I'm just going to go over my process. This is an example of what your final sound is going to be.
Highway run into the midnight sun. Wheels go round and round, you're on my mind. Highway run into the midnight sun. Wheels go round and round, you're on my mind.
You can hear a little bit of the music bleeding through into the vocals, but that's fine because that's just the backup track, my instrumental right here, that's going to be playing alongside with it. When they play together, you won't even hear that. So starting off, what I do is I go through the track and I lower any peaks. To do this, I just highlight them like that, and then I'll hit Command E, which will cut it, and then I just go right here on this fader and I just pull it down. Right here you can see I went to negative 0.9, over here negative 1.8, negative 2.8 over here. Make sure you don't go too far off, because if these numbers next to each other are too far off, sometimes you'll hear a pop in between. So you want them to be somewhat close. Let me actually show you an example. Clicking right here, I cut that, and I can drag the fader down a little bit. That'll level the peaks out with the others. You can use the peak meter over here to gauge where it's at. I usually try to keep them right here on the peak meter, make sure all the levels are hitting around there.
Into the midnight sun.
As you can see, it's all level. So once you're done going through all the vocal tracks doing that, I'm going to go back to the other window. And the first thing I put on my vocal track is EQ. I boost around between 3 to 4K. That's where the presence in vocals sits. I boosted 1.8 here. Usually I do like 3 decibel, but I didn't feel like I needed as much in this track. I boosted 6.15 kilohertz and up a little bit, 3.5 decibel. So that will give it more air. I cut everything below 100 hertz. You can go up to 150 hertz if you have a lot of issues with the lower sound, like pops and whatnot. You just use your judgment on what you hear. So next in the chain, I add the first level of compression. Channel strip. I got a 10:5 ratio here. Usually for my first level of compression, I'll go around 5 or 6 to 1 for a ratio, but I wanted a little bit more control over these vocals because there's a lot of louder peaks. So I'm almost doing limiting by going to 10:5. Threshold is just enough to get 3 dB of gain reduction. Attack, 19.5 milliseconds. It won't cut all the peaks out. Release, I have a long release because it's more of a ballad song, 853 milliseconds. For the second level of compression, I have a 5 to 8 ratio. I went down. A threshold, just enough to get 3 dB again of gain reduction. Release, 853 milliseconds again. Now on this one, I actually did 1.9 dB of makeup gain. I didn't do it on the other one. The other one has 0 dB makeup gain because I just wanted to control the peaks more. So the second level of compression, I actually turn it back up to get the volume restored. The third compressor I used is a take on the LA2A compressor. It's a CA2A. And usually you just want to go down about like half a unit to 1 unit because it's not measured in decibel, it's a different unit measurement. So you don't have to have as much reduction on this to get results.
Wheels go round and round, you're on my mind.
As you can see, only the peaks hit way up here. Everything else is pretty much right around here. Then I have a de-esser. High frequency only I clicked. My range is negative 9.3 decibel because you want about negative 6 dB of reduction.
Wheels go round and round, you're on my mind.
So as you can see, it hit down here, around negative 6. The next thing I put on There's a little bit of auto-tune, not enough to actually notice it in the vocals. You can go all the way up here and get cool vocal effects, but I keep it on the lowest setting usually, just to get enough to fine-tune the sound, but not enough to be audible. Let me show you.
Wheels go round and round, you're on my mind.
As you can see there, I bypassed the auto-tune effect, and you couldn't hear any difference at all. It's more subtle. Then for reverb, I make an aux track, and I route the main verse to the aux track through a bus 1 to bus 1. Make sure when you're using a bus, you set this to 0, because a lot of times it'll be all the way down here to negative infinity. First thing I did was add some deverb, and all the plugins I'm using are stock plugins so far, except for the CA2A, which was a free download. But you can find all of these stock plugins, obviously, right in Pro Tools. It comes along with it. But I just chose the reverb that I wanted, Hall 4.5 seconds. Then I add EQ onto the track. And then I just cut everything below 400 hertz so that it doesn't muddy up the mix. Then I add another compressor. This one I'm using sidechain, so make sure the sidechain key is activated. You want to bus it from the vocal track, so I added a bus 5 right here for the key. I used bus 5. And then for a ratio, I used a pretty light one, 3.2 to 1 ratio, long release. And I only did like 3 to 6 decibel of gain reduction, which you can adjust with the threshold to get. You can do as much as you want, but every time the vocals go up, it activates the compressor and it pushes down the reverb, so you get less reverb for the louder you sing. It's actually called dynamic reverb. This is what the professionals use. And after you have all that, this is what your final result is again.
Highway run into the midnight sun. Wheels go round and round, you're on my mind.
And this song cover is one that I did at Faithfully by Journey. You can actually check it out on my page. I will leave a link to it at the end of the video as well in the description. Thank you for listening. Tune back in for more videos. I'm going to have one on the quick master that I did for this to finish it off with the instrumental, so I'll play them together. But again, you can check it out right on my page if you want to listen to the final result. Thank you for checking in.
Heart thumping, blood pumping, sweat running. I'm a victim of your love now.